if you want to read what Buddha thought about, or what Buddha said about those sort of speculative view, and there is a very good sutta. I mean, this is in Digha Nikaya, the Brahmajala Sutta, Digha Nikaya 1, and this Digha Nikaya 1 is actually, it is the sutta that actually even the philosophies of the sort of Vedas, that they will fall into one of those 62 speculative views. Yeah, because there is nothing that cannot fall into this 62 speculative views, and then whether you call it universal consciousness or universal being, that sort of thing, all sort of all pervading consciousness, or that sort of thing, they all are domain of concept. And what Buddha says that it's kind of, there are many spheres of being and many experiences, and all those sort of experiences, and the be it how supernormal be it, whether that is going to lead one to a supreme, that sort of a kind of experiences of, let's say what we call the supernormal power, or the sort of psychic power, or the sort of being able to remember many eons of past existences and so on, those sort of things, and even that sort of experiences, then one is not able to resolve this fundamental problem of suffering. And those sort of speculations and that sort of supernormal abilities, they do not solve this problem of being conditioned by what is called, and Buddha is giving this sutta is culminated is actually the supreme, shall I say, the ultimate reality. Probably, I think if anybody, if you are after the ultimate reality, and if you are really want to know what is what is beyond all that sort of all these philosophies, all this speculation and everything, then I suggest you read this Brahmajala Sutta. And here in this Brahmajala Sutta is basically, and the last 4 category in the 62 speculative views, he is talking about those 4 jhanas. And he said one will experiences one experiences the first jhana, second jhana, and one will go through those jhanas. Let's say in the first jhana, one would let go of that sort of hindrances, and that sort of one lets go of all these sort of sense pleasures and unwholesome states. Then one enters and abides in the first jhana. Yeah. So this first jhana has got what is called the rapture and pleasure born of seclusion, which and that sort of a happiness born of seclusion. So it is a very happy state, very joyful state, and those beings who experiences that sort of jhanas, if they think that is the ultimate reality, that falls into number 59 of those speculative views. So what Buddha is saying is that experiencing jhana does not give you the kind of, does not let's say lead to the awakening. Let's put it this way. Yeah. So you can experience jhanas, but that jhanas, if you experience that and you experience that bliss, and you have and I did mention there are many suttas where Buddha says that if you experience jhana, if you leave this human realm, and at the end of your life, if you do not progress any further, then there is a certain heaven for those beings who experience the first jhana. It's called the it's a Brahmaloka. It's a that sort of it is that sort of a sphere, the form sphere realm, where the life of that sort of being is 100 Mahakapas. So 100 Mahakapas is 100 times 10 to the power 21. That's how much I calculated. 10 to the power 21 years. So 100 times 10 to the power 21, that means 10 to the power 23 years. That will translate into many trillion years. So that's sort of lifespan of those sort of beings who experiences jhanas are. Yeah. So what the Buddha is saying, that one would experience that sort of bliss and may think that that is the ultimate reality, and that is the kind of that is all that is in our experiences. But that is still a speculative view. One is still being deluded by that sort of experiences, because so now this will lead to the and then progressively it goes into the next experience, which is the second jhana. And in the second jhana is basically it goes into the subtler realm of joy and happiness with no thinking and examining thought. So in the second jhana there is no pitaka and vichara. It's just the rapture and pleasure. Yeah. So there is no thinking and examining thought. And that second jhana has got a lifespan of 200 Mahakapas. Yeah. And in the third jhana, those rapture and pleasure ceases, and there will only be some sort of deep happiness within the pleasure of the body. Yeah. And that is accompanied by strong equanimity. And the third jhana is the one who experiences third jhana has lifespan of 400 Mahakapas. And in the fourth jhana, the lifespan of the beings who experiences the fourth jhana is 500 Mahakapas. And in that sort of realm, the beings they don't have, they have let go of pleasure and pain, and they abide in the equanimity. So even the experience of equanimity and that sort of is there is still some subtle, what we call the layer of identification or speculation. That sort of whoever experiences that sort of realm is still bound by this kind of speculative views. So what is that speculative view? Because and in that Brahmajala Sutta, at the very end of the sutta is that all these speculative views are, people, those who experience all that, they are repeatedly experiencing these because of they are experiencing these based on the feelings. And what they do not realize is that these feelings are conditioned by contact. Yeah. So they are repeatedly being contacted by those sort of sense sphere contacts, and because of that they are swept away by the current of dependent origination. So with contact as a condition, feeling arises, with the feeling as a condition, craving arises, with craving as a condition, what is called the upadana arises, the acquisition arises, and with acquiring as a condition, what it arises, the existence, the habitual tendency that arise, and habitual tendency leads one to the taking the body and the rebirth. And whenever one takes a rebirth, will have to suffer all that sort of pain from due to having a body. So what the Buddha is saying, the Buddha is showing that sort of ultimately, if you have not understood these links of dependent origination, The arising of contact, the notion of contact, the arising of the contact, the ceasing of the contact, and the way leading to the ceasing of the contact. If you do not know these four noble truths, then doesn't matter, even if you experience the fourth jhana or formless panorama, the infinite space, infinite consciousness, where the beings in that realm, they live 20,000 or 40,000 Mahakapas, experiences that sort of happiness and joy, but they will get stuck in that sort of experiences because they have not been able to get out of this condition experiences. So that's how Buddha is giving that sort of the recipe for awakening. Yeah, is saying that you can experience all that sort of those different realm of supernatural abilities, supernormal abilities. They might kind of give that sort of experiences of bliss and so on, but you are still, even if having that sort of things is not enough to qualify you as becoming what is called Ariya disciple, noble disciple. Yeah, Ariya means super noble, or let's say superhuman category of the disciple. Yeah, that means who are Aryas? That means who have completely seen the conditioned reality caused by the links of dependent origination, and who have seen the process and who have got a direct experience, and seeing that the experience directly leads to the release from this bondage of dependent origination. So